What is happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels, and we have another Millennials Suck story. I know it's been a while since I've been really kind of active in making videos, but those of you guys who've regularly watched this channel for a while know that I like to kind of cover these, like, Millennials are all broke, Millennials are all depressed, Millennials suck at life stories. We oftentimes hear joke that whenever there's a slow week in the news cycle, like, let's find some article to write about millennials. It's just kind of an interesting kind of anecdote or kind of side note about these type of stories. The media kind of treats millennials or talks about millennials like we're kind of still children. And if you look at the age range of millennials, we're anywhere from what, late 20s to almost 40. So millennials are kind of growing up. Millennials are no longer kids. I think probably within the next couple of years, we'll start seeing a lot of these millennials, blah, blah, blah stories be about Gen Z. Gen Z owns no wealth. Gen Z is terrible at adulting. Gen Z isn't adapting to the workforce. These types of articles. It seems like you guys really like this type of content. I always kind of find it interesting. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but like doom and gloom articles and doom and gloom content seems to be like really hot online right now. If you look at Graham Stephan, who's one of the, I would say, most popular YouTubers in the personal finance slash investing slash make money online slash business kind of category of content, he's one of the most popular guys out there. And I've noticed his content, which started off as real estate, has kind of transitioned to more like current event type content and a lot of like doom and gloom financial type content. And then another YouTuber who I've always liked, Bill Stenzel. He actually changed his YouTube name, I believe, to Johnny Bravo. He's the guy with the crazy hair. He used to do a lot of Amazon content, and he kind of also transitioned into kind of current event business content, which is kind of a transition that I've made as well. You can only make so many videos about, how to set up an Amazon FBA account, how to, the these things are always changing, but you kind of start to get bored with the same type of content, and current events are something that's always kind of changing, and business current events kind of do in a way affect our e-commerce businesses and everything else. Anyhow, that's just kind of something that I noticed is a lot of YouTubers, myself included, are kind of transitioning to business kind of current event type content. But I've noticed Bill Stencil, I watch all his videos, I enjoy them, and I'm as guilty of this as the next person is, like, liking this. I shouldn't say I like it, but being attracted to this doom and gloom financial type news. Because I've always made I've always kind of covered the articles about, 70% of U.S. households can't cover a $300 emergency. Everybody's broke. Nobody's saving anything for retirement. Millennials suck. I cover these stories as well, but I noticed Bill Stencil, like, every single video is like, the economy is crashing, the economy is crashing. And I think even he's kind of started to joke that, like, that's what every video is. But it's just kind of very strange to me that, like, people are attracted to the content. It's kind of like watching a car crash. But at the same time, like, it's probably not healthy to have, like, all this negativity and doom and gloom. But because it gets views, people continue making these types of videos. So I don't know, that's kind of a random thought there. I don't know if you guys have noticed that at all, but I've noticed that's kind of a trend on YouTube and among bloggers and even on social media lately. If you guys watch my channel regularly, you probably already know about this stat. I've done a lot of stories like this, and I've talked about how millennials own substantially less than Gen Xers at the same age, but way, 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 way less than baby boomers at a similar age. And that's this should be a pretty quick video. Let's just hop right on into it. Despite making up the largest portion of the workforce, millennials control just 4.6% of U.S. wealth through the first half of 2020, according to data from the Federal Reserve. Baby boomers control over 53% of the country's wealth, while Gen X accounts for just over 25%. And the silent generation holds around 17%, according to the Fed's data, which breaks down U.S. wealth in the beginning of 2020 by age, class, and race. Well, it's not abnormal for older generations to be wealthier than younger generations. They have had longer to earn money, accumulate assets after all. The Fed data shows that millennials have far less wealth than boomers did at the same age. In 1989, when baby boomers were around the same age as millennials are today, they controlled 21% of the nation's wealth. That's almost 5 times as much as what millennials own today. Many previous reports have found that millennials are on average worse off financially than their parents and grandparents were at the same age, despite being better educated. And the age of the coronavirus pandemic is exacerbating the inequality, while every corner of the economy has been impacted by job losses, have been particularly heavy on low-wage workers, including industries like retail, education, and hospitality. Millennial workers, as well as women and minorities, make up a disproportionate share of these workforces. Additionally, millennials have largely missed out on the gains in the stock market over the past few years. They control just 2% of total equity in corporations and mutual fund shares. Baby boomers, meanwhile, own over 55%. And that's kind of where the article kind of leaves off. Just a few comments about this article, and I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts as well. For anybody wondering about the reasons for this, I know sometimes millennials kind of get shit on by older generations as we're soft, we're not motivated, we're not willing to start at the bottom, and that's not the reason, right? Like, are a lot of millennials, are a lot of people in our generation kind of pussies? Absolutely. But I think there's bigger issues at play. A lot of millennials graduated either in the midst of or in the years following one of the greatest recessions, depressions since the Great Depression. Um, that slowed down millennials, that slowed down our wage growth in the early years of our career. And according to studies, the first 5-10 years of your career are when you're kind of really setting the trajectory for where you're going to be wage growth wise. Also, where you start out at is going to kind of determine where your wages, when you're in your higher earning years, tend to wind up being. Somebody who, starts making 60 grand a year and, earns a 3 or 5% raise every year is going to be substantially further ahead than somebody who starts at $35,000 or $40,000 a year and kind of sees that same growth. One of the ways that you can break out of this is switching jobs. I think on average, people who hop jobs wind up getting about a 15% raise, as opposed to people who stay at a job and get a raise within that job. It winds up being 2 or 3% typically. But yeah, that's kind of some of the reasons why this is the case. One other just kind of fun piece of commentary I have about this, a lot of news, a lot of what's on the internet is kind of clickbait. It's what's going to get views. And, this stuff is all statistically true. Millennials are a lot worse off than Gen Xers and especially baby boomers at the same age. But I don't know if you guys have been seeing this a lot lately. There's a lot of articles lately about how millennials and Robinhood traders are shaping the direction of the stock market. That's why the stock market's so overvalued, because we're all idiots and we're buying into this inflated stock market. Millennials and Gen Zers are buying meme stocks and driving up meme stocks like Tesla and Neo and others. So I think it's kind of funny that these articles say that millennials have no money, but then on the flip side, the same journalists writing these articles are writing articles about how millennials are also ruining the stock market. Just kind of found that funny as well. But curious to hear any thoughts, opinions, anything else that you guys have to add about this. Go ahead and drop a comment down below. If you're not subscribed, that subscribe button below. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, drop a comment, let us know your thoughts, and we'll catch you on the next one.